So recently Mezco put out their Justice League set, which is the Flash, Batman, and Superman. This was something that had been announced years ago, and Mezco has been kind of hit or miss on when they finally release something that they've announced. And while I do have that set, the one character we're actually going to be talking about today is Batman. And that's because Batman is still more sought after and more valuable than Superman or the Flash. As of right now, I can find sold listings on eBay for the original Batman vs Superman for at least $150, all the way up to like $250, depending on if it's like with box and sealed and all that kind of stuff. And even people that are buying the Justice League set just to part it out are still selling that Batman, this one right here, for $150 anyway. So the question really becomes, is it really worth $150? And or can you actually make your own Batman for way cheaper? So what I have is the official release of the Justice League version of Batman. I don't have the Batman vs Superman one, which is the first one that they came out with, but I have a knockoff, and I have the Muff Toys upgrade kit. So we're gonna look at how this kit looks on this guy, and that should hopefully help you determine whether or not you should be going for the Justice League Batman or just going for this together. So let's start by actually taking a look at our knockoff Batman. So this knockoff Batman I bought from AliExpress, and I think it was about $30-ish or so shipped. And you can see pretty clearly that it's a knockoff already, just because of the fact of where like the logo and the lettering for the Batman vs Superman on here is too low. The logo should be centered, the whole shebang, right? So I knew it was a knockoff. I bought it for this express purpose. And you can even see that like the Batman is here because the whole artwork should be like shifted like that. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's a knockoff, so I'm not really surprised by that. Otherwise, the box is what you would expect. This is like a replica of the Mezco box, so this looks the way it's supposed to. And the nice thing at least is that it actually comes with, I think, all the accessories that it's supposed to come with. So if you did get a loose Batman and you wanted the stand, then I mean, this stand, I personally wouldn't really care if it's a knockoff or not, because I'm not going to really know the difference for something like that. The figure is a different story, and we'll get into that in a second. But if you're looking for the accessories, you can get it from the knockoff. And otherwise, here is our Batman. So I did open this previously to check it out myself, and when I first opened it, it had quite a strong smell to it. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind if you're going to be doing the same thing. And actually, it still has kind of a strong smell to it. I should probably have left it out, but that's okay. Now, this is supposed to be a knockoff, a replica of the original Batman vs Superman one, which unfortunately I don't have to compare it to. But let's take a look at how this compares to the Justice League version, since those are going to be the two that most people are probably going to compare. Here are our two Batmans, and you can see that this one is kind of horrified looking. The face and the eyes in there look really bad. And then our official one obviously still looks way, way better. And then if we move down, you can see that knockoff one just kind of looks like it's a dude in a suit that's too big for him. And here's a comparison of the knockoff head and the head that it's supposed to be knocked off of. And there's really just no comparison. The official is way, way better. And as far as the knockoff goes, some of the joints are pretty loose, which isn't great. And really, I think your mileage is going to vary from seller to seller, because you know these are made in huge batches and there's no QC on them at all. So you're going to get what you're going to get. So we'll see how well that goes when you combine it with the Muff kit. Now, the Muff kit is from a company called Muff, obviously, and this thing is about $60-something or so. I'll link where I got this down below. I got it from AliExpress, but as far as I can tell, this is the real deal. And what's interesting about this is that on the back, you can see that the kit that I got is the cape and the head and the separate neck. There's another kit where it's just the cape and then the head and neck being one piece. And then you can see that there's all these other ones too. And I found out that they're actually going to be doing a belt, a bat symbol, and I'm not sure what the third one is, but if I can figure it out, then I'll put it up in text somewhere on here. And that's going to be another kit coming out soon. So it feels like they're making all this for the express purpose of taking a knockoff and turning it into a better looking Batman, but I can't say for sure. As far as this kit though, here's what you get in the box. And the cape is down there. And so on here, you can see that it's got a date on there, 3/25/16. I think that might be the date of when Batman vs Superman came out, but I'll find out for sure and put it up on the screen. Otherwise, it's got some nice presentation. The packaging looks very like official in the sense of like being high quality. And on the inside, you have this nice kind of Wayne sticker on there, although they never expressly call it Wayne. And there is our head. Here's how the Muff compares to the official Justice League head. And really, I'd say that the biggest difference is the fact that the paint job on the Muff head is just much nicer. The problem that I have, and that I think other people have mentioned too, with this one and Superman, is that the skin is a little too orange. It still looks better skin tone wise than this Superman, but it's still too orange overall. But it feels like Muff Toys really hit the mark with this one. Now here's the cape, and it's a nice soft pleather material. We can see that it's got like the dirty, grimy bottom of the cape like the knockoff has. And there does not seem to be any kind of wire for articulation at all, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. And here's how the Mezco and the Muff compare. I think the fake leather look of the Muff one looks way better than our official Mezco release. All right, so let's do this swap and see how it looks. So I was able to get it to pop off. I didn't need any hot water. It probably wouldn't hurt to use hot water too, just in case, but because it's a knockoff, I'm not really that worried about breaking anything either. All right, and here we go. So here's our knockoff with the Muff Toy Batman head and cape. And this is, again, the articulated head, so you can move it around. And that definitely looks a lot better because the head is so prominent that you see it very quickly. And I think the rest of it is less noticeable that it's a knockoff. I think if you look closely and you're very familiar with the original Batman, then it's pretty obvious that it's a knockoff. But if you're looking at it from a distance or you're looking at it as part of a display, once you have it articulated in a pose of some sort, then it becomes way, way less obvious, and that looks really good. I would say for about $100-ish or so, this would actually look really great. I think the gauntlets and the boots probably need a little bit of cleanup. I'm unclear if that's like purposeful, like scuffing, or if that's just really poor, you know, paint from the Chinese factory wherever this was made. Like I said, Muff Toys is coming out with a replacement bat symbol and belt, and the bat symbol on the knockoffs have all been pretty terrible looking. You can see it's like kind of malformed on one side of it, so getting a replacement would actually look really good. I have seen files that I can download to 3D print one if I wanted to, and I've considered that as well, but I also kind of want to see what Muff Toys releases. The belt I'm not too upset by. It's not the greatest, but I also think what Muff Toys is going to come out with is probably going to be way nicer. But then that really begs the question, is like, what's the price point going to be, right? Because if you're buying the head and the cape and the symbol and the belt and whatever that third piece is that they're also coming out with, then how much is that going to be? Because if the head and cape were already about 60 bucks, then is the rest of it going to be another $60? And then if you add in the cost of the knockoff, if you're really going to do it that way, then you're looking at almost $150 then. At which point I feel like you should probably just get the Justice League Batman. Now, if you're considering the Muff Toys one because you want to upgrade the Justice League Batman, I can definitely say that the head just on the paint job alone and the cape is just way nicer, and I think would make a really nice upgrade to your Justice League Batman. But again, if you're buying this one solo, adding the cost of this, you're already looking at $200 something. So that's kind of high too. So here's the two side by side, Muff Toys in my hand over here, and then the official Justice League on this side. And really, I think, again, because the knockoff head is so distracting, so it's hard to tell. But when you see it like this, it actually looks pretty good. I gotta say, I really like the cape and like how it falls. It feels natural in the sense, and I think it's really nice. And because of the way that they like folded it in, that when you fold it back, it holds it really well too, and that's really cool. I actually really appreciate that. That's a great detail, and I think I would love to see Mezco do something like that for their future capes. Let me know in the comments which Batman you would rather purchase, and otherwise, if you want to see more Mezco Batman, check out my video over here.